Hi everyone, it's Dave from Doctors of Running, and today I wanted to do a video talking about my favorite shoes for the lightweight trainer category in 2025. And in the present time, shoes are getting lighter and lighter these days, so I kind of wanted to draw a hard line as to what I considered quote-unquote lightweight. I decided a fair line with 9.0 ounces or 255 grams and below. So for the sake of this video, if you are hearing a shoe on this list, it will be under that. I will get to the weights of those shoes throughout the video. But if the shoe is 9.1 ounces or above, it did not make the cut for today's video. Doesn't mean it's a bad shoe, but for the sake of a lightweight trainer, that's where I decided to make the cutoff. And in the past, we've kind of associated lightweight trainer and performance trainer kind of in the same vein. And as these shoes get lighter and lighter, they can be really light, but not necessarily fast. And so today, we're really just going to go over lightweight trainers, and I'll tell you why I like them. Some will be faster than others, but we'll get into that. So for the very first shoe, I think this one is going to be a shoe that is not a surprise on anyone's list. This is the New Balance FuelCell Rebel version 5. This comes in at 7.6 ounces. It uses the FuelCell midsole. It's a PIBA blend, and it's kind of right in that middle stack height. So this one comes in at 35 millimeters of stack in the heel, 29 millimeters of stack in the forefoot for a 6 millimeter drop. This is a very versatile shoe, being at 7 ounces, super lightweight. The foam is plush but bouncy. The shoe has a little bit of flexibility to it as well, so you can kind of turn over, get a little bit of a natural feel for it. This is kind of that Swiss Army knife of a shoe. It might be a little bit unstable for some, but it's neutral, it's lightweight, it's plush. This is a solid option for anything that's trying to go fast. And truth be told, out of the options today, this is probably the quote-unquote fastest shoe of the group today, but it does lose some versatility with the longer efforts in comparison to some of the other shoes. But if you're trying to go fast, or you want something really light and nimble on your feet, the FuelCell Rebel version 5 from New Balance can do that. The next shoe on the list here is actually going to be a surprise for some people, I think, and I've been really enjoying this shoe, is the Salomon Aero Blaze 3 Gravel. Now this shoe comes in at 8.7 ounces, which is very surprising when you look at the outsole. It's got a Contagrip gravel outsole to give it just a little bit more traction on gravel and dirt and trail. So this is basically taking the Aeroblaze 3 and then making it a little bit more beefed up so that it can be a little bit more durable and take on some of the off-road conditions. And I think it actually made the road running better for me as well. In the Aeroblaze 3, it felt a little bit unstable. Now this midsole is a supercritical TPU, and it's got that beaded feel that you have in some other models that are out there too, almost like Boost from Adidas, but a little bit lighter and a little bit more lively. So it's a really fun ride. It's got a little bit of stiffness to it now that it has this thicker outsole. And it's actually pretty versatile. I feel pretty good picking up the pace, but I like it a lot for just easy running and just all of those runs when I'm going to go from road to dirt, a little bit of gravel, like just a little bit of everything, some runnable trail. This shoe does very well. I forgot to mention, I want to give out the prices of these shoes. So the New Balance Rebel version 5 is at $145, which is a great value, I think, for that shoe. This is also a great value. This retails at $140. So I think it's a very good shoe. Now this shoe isn't quite as roomy as the Rebel version 5. This has got a little bit more of a narrow last to it. It's got some volume in the forefoot for some swelling accommodation, but it's not the widest shoe. So if you have kind of a little bit more of a narrow fitting shoe, you just like a nice balanced neutral shoe that can tackle a little bit of everything, including some dirt and off-road, the Salomon Aero Blaze 3 Gravel is very good. The next one on the list here, and this is one that people probably will not be surprised to hear, is the ASICS Megablast. Now the ASICS Megablast is a very surprising shoe. This one comes in at 7.9 ounces, men's size 9, 44 millimeters of stack in the heel, 36 millimeters of stack in the forefoot for an 8 millimeter drop platform. Now this, alongside the Sonic Blast, comes in with a new midsole called Flight Foam Turbo Squared. It's an ATPU-based midsole. Now, we've talked about this shoe a lot on the podcast, but it's basically a lightweight rockered shoe. This retails at $225. The ATPU midsole, I will say, does feel like it's a little bit of a step up in quality from some of the other midsoles that I mentioned earlier. However, it's a lot of shoe, and even though it's lightweight, I think it does lose some of that pop when you get into the top speeds. So this is an excellent easy day to slightly up-tempo type of shoe. So if you're looking for a recreational marathon shoe, or a long run shoe, or a tempo run shoe, this is a pretty solid option, but I'm not sure I'd rip it on the track with this. So this is one of my favorite shoes to do long runs in and easy days as well. So it's pretty easy for this to make the list for me. The next one here is another one where I think the secret's kind of out on this shoe. It's getting more and more popular as we speak, but this is the TYR Maverick V1, and this is a very surprising shoe. I was not expecting to have a TYR shoe on my lightweight trainers of the year so far. This shoe comes in at 7.7 ounces, and it's at 44 millimeters of stack in the heel, which is wild. 36 millimeters of stack in the forefoot. Everything they did about this shoe was to improve running economy. That was kind of their main focus. It's a supercritical midsole. I'm assuming it's an EVA. It doesn't actually tell us what the specific compound is, but it's a supercritical midsole, 7.7 ounces, very lightweight, translucent mesh upper, kind of a thin rubber outsole, but it still grips pretty well. Now this shoe really gets its value in its weight. It's really lightweight. It's got a lot of cushioning underfoot, but it's more of a resilient cushioning. I wouldn't say it's like a mushy soft, and I don't think it's really like super bouncy either. It's just a very rhythmic shoe that's very lightweight. There's a little bit more toe spring up front, so you kind of consistently feel like you're rounding forward and kind of just leaning into that next step. So for easy rhythmic day options, I really like this shoe. It can go a little bit up tempo, but that's where I feel like it loses some of that pop as the pace picks up. But just for easy rhythmic running, I feel like I've forgot this shoe was even on my foot. So very happy with the TYR Maverick V1 as well. This retails at $150. So very, very good price, I think, for what you're getting here. And then the next one is a surprising one, I think, and it's going to be a little bit of a polarizing one, and this is the last one on the list, and this is going to be the ASICS Sonic Blast. Now, this is accompanying the new Blast series as well, and this has a dual density midsole, so it does have the Flight Foam Turbo Squared on the top layer, and then it has a Blast Plus on the bottom, or Blast Max, to kind of help ease some of the softness you get from the ATPU midsole. However, the ATPU midsole actually does run a little bit firm. It's more compliant than the previous Flight Foam Turbo, but it still is on the firmer side. I'm not sure you really needed that bottom layer on there, but this is a plated option. It's a P-back plate, very sharp toe spring up front. Specs, you're looking at 9.0 ounces. It barely made the cut. 46 millimeters of stack in the heel, 38 millimeters of stack in the forefoot. Now this shoe, the reason why I say it's going to be polarizing is I do think this heel needs to be a little bit better. For the rear foot strikers out there in the world, including myself, this can be a little bit of a clunky rear foot. It's not beveled super well through there, and it can feel a little bit like a shank when you land. However, the midfoot and the forefoot feel very good, and it's very lively, snappy, bouncy. It's got a lot of stiffness up front, and this thing can really fly when you pick up the pace. So even though it's the heaviest of the bunch, I think the fastest shoes on the list today would be the Rebel version 5 and the Sonic Blast. The upper is kind of a lightweight, just jacquard mesh, like fits really well. It's just kind of a normal fit through the heel and the midfoot, a high volume in the forefoot. It's a little bit wider. I wouldn't necessarily say it's wide. It's just slightly wider than normal. So that's the ASICS Sonic Blast there. So if I missed anything, let me know. I know a lot of people like the Saucony Endorphin Speed 5. I did not get that shoe this year, so that has been omitted from this list for that reason. I haven't run in it, so I can't speak on it. But let us know in the comments what you think. But these are some of my favorite lightweight trainers for 2025.